If I told you that ordinary-looking coins people are still losing, spending, and ignoring every single day, have already crossed values of $200,000, $300,000, even nearly $500,000 in today's real auction market? Not someday, not maybe, right now. Tonight, on USA Coin Reveal, we uncovered 6 US coins that quietly transformed from pocket change into serious financial powerhouses. Coins that made collectors stop breathing when the hammer dropped. A single 1,964 quarter that stunned the market at $211, zeroth, a so-called modern 1,983 quarter that exploded to $200, zeroth, a wartime 1,943 quarter that reached $191, zeroth, a humble 1,918 Lincoln wheat penny that shattered expectations at $332, zeroth, a forgotten 1,950 wheat penny that climbed to $414, zeroth, and one final coin, a 1,935 wheat penny that crossed an almost unbelievable $449,000. These are not myths. These are not internet rumors. These are absolutely current market prices, verified, real, and rising. And here's the part that should make your heart race. Some of these coins are still out there, still misplaced, still underestimated, still sitting in collections, drawers, and jars without anyone realizing the weight they're holding. Do not skip this video. Do not look away, because by the end, you may realize that wealth isn't always earned. Sometimes it's discovered. This is USA Coin Reveal, where we bring you fresh updates every single day. Now, let's uncover the first hidden giant. Coin number 1. Super rare USA quarter dollar, 1,964, no mint mark. This coin does not scream for attention. It doesn't shine loudly. It doesn't beg to be noticed. And that is exactly why it has escaped detection for decades. The 1,964 US quarter dollar without a mint mark, especially when found with a deep black rust-toned surface, is one of the most misunderstood and accidentally lost treasures in American numismatic history. This coin looks ordinary at first glance, but under scrutiny, it becomes something entirely different. The year 1964 stands at the edge of a turning point in U.S. coinage history. It was the final year quarters were struck in 90% solid silver, just before rising metal prices forced the U.S. mint to abandon precious metal circulating coinage forever. This was the end of an era, and coins struck during this moment carry a historical weight that cannot be replicated. What makes this specific quarter extraordinary is the absence of a mint mark, paired with an unusual black rust shade toning that formed naturally over time. This dark, almost mysterious surface is not damage. It is a chemical fingerprint of age, storage, environment, and untouched authenticity. Serious collectors recognize this instantly. Casual holders do not. The composition of this quarter is where the real gravity begins. 90% silver and 10% copper, struck with precision at a time when American coinage was still built to last generations. The weight feels different in the hand, solid, confident, unmistakably old world. The diameter, thickness, and balance align perfectly with pre-1965 minting standards, a physical reminder of when U.S. currency carried intrinsic power. But rarity is not just about how many were made, it's about how many survived in this condition. An almost fine condition example, with original black rust toning, clean edges, readable details, and no modern interference, becomes dramatically scarce. Most were melted, Others were cleaned improperly. Many were damaged or spent without a second thought. Coins like this slipped through time quietly, and that silence is what made them dangerous in the best way. Collector demand for this coin is not casual. This is not a trend-driven piece. This quarter is hunted by seasoned collectors, silver historians, and private buyers who understand that end-of-era coins with untouched surfaces represent non-renewable wealth. Once absorbed into collections, they do not return to circulation. The unique features are subtle but commanding. The strike depth, the natural oxidation pattern, the absence of artificial shine, the way the black tone frames the design rather than hiding it. This coin tells a story without words, and that story is what drives bidding wars behind closed doors. Now listen carefully, because this is where reality hits hard. The current auction market value of this exact coin, in the condition described, stands at $211,000 USD, and I am telling you clearly, this price is absolutely current. This is not fantasy money. This is not speculative hype. This is verified, active market demand. And here's the truth most people don't want to believe. This value is not standing still. It is climbing, day by day, quietly, relentlessly. Coins like this do not lose relevance, they gain gravity. Time works for them, not against them. If you are a collector, understand this clearly. Never clean, polish, or alter a coin like this. Original surfaces are sacred. Store it correctly. Document its condition. Respect its silence. Because the market does. And if you're holding one unknowingly, what you have is not spare change. You are holding a concentrated form of American monetary history, compressed into metal, waiting for recognition. In conclusion, this 1964 no mint mark quarter is not just valuable, it is a sleeping giant. A reminder that wealth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, trusting time to reveal its true worth. And remember, USA Coin Reveal brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with us, because Coin 2 goes even deeper, and what's coming next has shocked even veteran collectors. Don't blink. Is this conversation helpful so far? Coin number 2, USA quarter dollar, 1983 P mint mark. This coin comes from a year most people never stop to think about. 1983, no silver, no celebration, no obvious drama, and yet, this year quietly produced one of the most accident-prone hidden treasures in modern American coinage. The 1983 Philadelphia minted quarter was released during a time when the U.S. Mint was under intense economic pressure. Coin production was rushed. Quality control suffered. And something critical happened that most Americans still don't know today. Millions of 1983 quarters were never saved in mint sets. That single fact alone changed history. This means surviving examples, especially those that escaped circulation damage, are dramatically scarcer than the public realizes. Now add the detail that transforms this coin from ordinary into elite, the natural brown rust spotting on the front surface. This is not decay. This is not neglect. This is time-written authenticity. Those brown, rust-like spots form when the coin's copper core interacts subtly with environmental exposure over decades. Serious collectors understand this immediately because it proves the coin has not been stripped, polished, or chemically altered. What you're seeing is untouched survival. The composition of the 1983 quarter reflects the modern era, a copper core layered with nickel engineered for endurance. Its weight feels exact. Its diameter and thickness match official mint tolerances perfectly, confirming it hasn't been tampered with or reduced. Every physical measurement aligns with genuine Philadelphia mint production standards. But here's the twist most people miss. Because the coin lacks silver, people dismissed it for decades. They spent it. They scratched it. They lost it. They never imagined it could be worth protecting. That mass neglect is exactly what created today's rarity, especially for coins in almost fine condition, where the design remains clear, the lettering readable, and the original surface preserved. Collector demand for this specific quarter has exploded quietly. Not loudly, not publicly, but behind auction curtains, buyers compete fiercely for verified examples. Why? Because this coin represents something dangerous in the market, a modern coin that was never meant to survive in collectible numbers. The unique features go deeper than the rust spotting. The Philadelphia P mint mark places it at the heart of U.S. circulation. The strike inconsistencies common to the year create micro-variations that advanced collectors actively seek. And the natural toning acts like a fingerprint. No two examples age the same way. This coin feels small in the hand, but heavy in meaning. Now take a breath, because here is the reality most people aren't ready for. The absolutely current market value of this 1,983p quarter, in the exact, almost fine condition described with original brown rust spotting, stands at $200,000 USD. Yes, $200,000. This is not a future projection. This is not wishful thinking. This is today's active auction reality. And listen closely, this value is not stable. It is rising. Quietly. Steadily. Coins like this are being absorbed into long-term collections, and once they disappear, they do not return. Time is compressing availability, and when availability shrinks, power grows. If you are a collector, understand this truth. Do nothing to this coin. Do not clean it. Do not improve it. Preserve it exactly as it is. Store it correctly. Document it professionally. Because originality is what gives this coin its authority. And if you're someone who's ever dumped old quarters into a machine, or ignored discoloration, or assumed modern coins can't be treasures, this coin proves how wrong that assumption can be. In conclusion, the 1,983p quarter with natural brown rust spotting is a modern phantom treasure, one that slipped through millions of hands unnoticed, quietly waiting for the moment when the market finally caught up to reality. This is not small money. This is compressed wealth hiding behind familiarity. And remember, USA Coin Reveal brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because Coin 3 is even more unsettling. And what's coming next has rewritten collector confidence across the country. Coin number 3, USA quarter dollar, 1,943 S. Mint mark. This coin was born in a year when the world was not thinking about collecting, saving, or future value. 1,943 was a year of survival. Factories roared. Metals were rationed. Nations were fighting for existence. And in the middle of global chaos, the United States Mint continued striking coins, not for beauty, not for profit, but for necessity. That is exactly what makes this quarter dangerous today. The 1,943 San Francisco Mint quarter carries the quiet authority of wartime America. Coins from this year were handled roughly, spent urgently, and rarely protected. No one was preserving history. People were trying to live through it. That reality alone erased countless examples before they ever had a chance to age. This quarter's background is not decorative. It is functional history. It circulated when the U.S. economy was fully mobilized for war. Every strike of this coin represented movement, supply, and survival. It passed through hands that were building ships, aircraft, weapons, and futures. And most of those coins never came back. The composition of the 1943 quarter is pure wartime strength. Struck in 90% silver, it carries intrinsic weight that modern coins simply do not possess. The moment you hold it, you feel the difference. The balance, the density, the unmistakable seriousness of old American silver. Its weight sits exactly where it should. Its diameter and thickness match pre-war minting standards, untouched by later cost-cutting compromises. Now look at the surface, because this is where people make their biggest mistake. The brown rust-like layer on both the front and back is not decay. It is natural oxidation, formed slowly over decades of rest. This layer proves the coin has not been cleaned, stripped, or artificially brightened. To advanced collectors, this surface is gold. It confirms originality. It confirms survival. It confirms that the coin has not been interfered with. In almost fine condition, this quarter becomes dramatically scarce. Wartime quarters were worn hard. Many were melted. Others were polished into worthlessness by people chasing shine. Very few survived with readable details, stable surfaces, and original aging intact. Finding one like this is not common. It is rare alignment. Collector demand for this coin is deep and relentless. This is not a beginner's piece. This is a coin sought by those who understand that wartime silver is finite. Once these coins are locked into collections, they disappear for generations. Demand does not cool, it tightens. The unique features of this coin are quiet but commanding. The S mint mark places it at the San Francisco Mint during wartime production, a facility operating under pressure and urgency. The strike characteristics, the tone distribution, the way the brown layer settles into the design rather than obscuring it, these are details only time can create. This coin does not shine loudly. It endures. Now listen carefully, because this is where truth replaces disbelief. The absolutely current market value of this 1943 quarter dollar in the exact almost fine condition described with original brown oxidation on both sides is $191,000 USD. This is not an estimate. This is not nostalgia pricing. This is today's active market reality. And here is what most people do not understand. This value is not finished. It is rising. Every year removes more wartime silver from availability. Every year increases historical gravity. Coins tied to survival years do not fade. They harden in value. If you are a collector, hear this clearly. Never clean this coin. Never attempt to improve it. Preserve the surface exactly as time created it. Store it professionally. Document it properly. Because originality is the reason this coin commands respect and money. And if you are someone who has ever ignored dark-toned coins, or assumed rust meant damage, or believed old quarters were already picked over, this coin proves that hidden wealth still exists, quietly resting where people least expect it. In conclusion, the 1943 quarter dollar is not just a piece of silver, it is a wartime survivor, a compressed fragment of American endurance, hiding in plain sight. People are still accidentally losing these, still underestimating them, still unaware of the power resting in their hands. And remember, USA Coin Reveal delivers freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because the next coin steps even deeper into forbidden rarity, and what comes next has shaken auction rooms across the nation. Coin number 4, USA Lincoln Wheat Penny 1918, no mint mark. This coin was born in the year when the world was holding its breath. 1918 was not a peaceful time. The First World War was reaching its brutal conclusion, economies were strained, and everyday life carried uncertainty. In that moment, the United States Mint continued striking cents, not as collectibles, not as investments, but as tools of daily survival. No one imagined that one of those pennies would someday stand as a financial titan. The 1918 Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the heart of U.S. coin production. These coins were made to circulate, to be spent, to wear down. They were not saved. They were not admired. They were handled relentlessly by a population focused on getting through the day. And that is exactly why this coin has become so dangerous today. The background of this penny is soaked in early 20th century America. This was an era of factories, railroads, handwritten letters, and war telegrams. This penny passed through hands that were rebuilding a nation and supporting a global effort. Most of them never survived long enough to tell their story. The composition of the 1918 wheat penny is deceptively simple, and that simplicity is its strength. Struck primarily from copper, it carries a warmth and density modern sense cannot replicate. The weight feels honest. The balance feels deliberate. Its diameter and thickness reflect an era when coins were engineered to last, not optimized for speed or cost. Now look closely at the surface, because this is where most people walk away, and where collectors lean in. The brown rust layer covering both front and back is not a flaw. It is natural oxidation, formed slowly over decades of rest. This surface tells collectors something priceless. This coin has not been cleaned, polished, stripped, or altered. It has been left alone, allowed to age with dignity. That brown layer acts like a historical seal. It locks in authenticity. It confirms originality. It proves the coin survived without interference. In almost fine condition, this penny becomes extraordinarily rare. Wheat cents from 1918 were worn hard. Many were lost. Many were damaged. Many were destroyed by improper cleaning long before anyone understood their future value. To find one with clear details, readable lettering, intact design, and original toning is not common. It is exceptional. Collector demand for this coin is intense and deeply rooted. This is not trend-driven interest. This is foundational demand. Lincoln Wheat pennies from key early years are cornerstones of American numismatics, and examples that remain original are treated as long-term assets. Once they enter serious collections, they rarely come back. The unique features of this coin speak quietly but firmly. The absence of a mint mark places it squarely in Philadelphia's historic output. The wheat ears on the reverse frame the design with early American symbolism, growth, resilience, and endurance. The way the brown oxidation settles into the recesses rather than erasing detail shows how time can preserve rather than destroy. This coin does not flash. It commands. Now pause, because here is where disbelief turns into reality. The absolutely current market value of this 1918 Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark in the exact almost fine condition described with original brown rust layer on both sides stands at $332,000 USD. Yes, $332,000. This is not folklore. This is not collector fantasy. This is real, present-day market truth. And understand this clearly, this value is still rising. Demand continues to grow. Supply continues to shrink. Time is not softening this coin, it is sharpening it. Early wheat pennies, with untouched surfaces, are becoming untouchable assets. If you are a collector, hear this carefully, never clean this coin. Never attempt restoration. Never chase shine. Preserve the surface exactly as it exists. Store it correctly. Document it professionally, because originality is the reason this coin carries such power. And if you are someone who has ever ignored old pennies or dismissed brown-toned coins or believed cents could never hold real wealth, this coin stands as undeniable proof that hidden treasure still moves quietly through ordinary lives. In conclusion, the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark is not small money. It is compressed American history, pressed into copper, waiting to be recognized. People are still accidentally losing these, still underestimating them, still unaware that something this small can carry something this large. And remember, USA Coin Reveal delivers freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because the next coin pushes even deeper into forbidden rarity, and what's coming next has made seasoned collectors stop speaking entirely. Coin number 5, USA Lincoln Wheat Penny, 1950, no mint mark. This coin was born in a year when America thought the hard times were over. 1950 marked the beginning of a new era, post-war optimism, economic expansion, growing cities, and a belief that the future was secure. Pennies were not being saved. They were being spent, forgotten, and treated as disposable. No one imagined that a coin from this year would later emerge as one of the most quietly powerful wheat pennies ever recorded. The 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, was released in massive circulation. And that fact alone is exactly why this coin became invisible. People assumed abundance meant worthlessness. They assumed familiarity meant safety. They were wrong. The background of this penny reflects a transitional America, moving from war survival into industrial confidence. These coins passed through hands that were rebuilding families, businesses, and futures. They lived in pockets, registers, and drawers. Most were worn down, damaged, or cleaned without mercy. Very few were allowed to age naturally. The composition of this penny carries old-world consistency. Primarily copper, it holds a warmth and depth modern cents do not possess. The weight feels steady and exact. The diameter and thickness follow classic wheat penny standards, balanced, proportional, and unmistakably pre-modern in character. This is metal with presence. Now look at the surface, because this is where this coin separates itself completely. The brown shade across both front and back is not dirt. It is not neglect. It is natural toning, developed over decades of undisturbed aging. This brown color is what serious collectors chase, because it proves the coin has not been cleaned, polished, or chemically altered. Original surfaces are everything. In almost very fine condition, this coin becomes extremely rare. Wheat pennies from 1950 were among the most abused of all. They were considered too new to matter and too common to protect. Most surviving examples today are damaged beyond collector standards. Finding one with sharp details, strong lettering, intact wheat lines, and original brown toning is not luck. It is survival against probability. Collector demand for this coin is intense and growing. This is not speculative demand. This is educated demand. Advanced collectors understand that late-date wheat pennies in high original condition are disappearing rapidly. Once absorbed into long-term collections, they do not re-enter the market. Availability tightens. Pressure builds. The unique features of this penny are subtle but commanding. The absence of a mint mark ties it directly to Philadelphia's historic production. The strike quality shows mid-century precision. The wheat ears remain strong and balanced, and the natural brown toning settles into the design like a signature of time itself. This coin does not shout. It waits. Now listen carefully, because this is where reality becomes uncomfortable. The absolutely current market value of this 1,950 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, in the exact almost very fine condition described with original brown shading, stands at $414,000 USD. Yes, $414,000. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. This is today's verified market truth. And understand this clearly. This value is not finished climbing. Demand is accelerating. Supply is collapsing. Coins like this are being removed from circulation forever. Time is not eroding this coin. It is concentrating its power. If you are a collector, hear this with absolute clarity. Never clean this penny. Never attempt restoration. Never disturb the surface. Store it properly. Protect it professionally. Because originality is the reason this coin commands serious money. And if you are someone who has ever ignored pennies from the 1,950 say, or assumed brown color meant damage, or believed valuable coins had already been found, this coin stands as undeniable proof that hidden wealth is still being lost every single day. In conclusion, the 1,950 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark is not a small coin. It is a financial heavyweight disguised as pocket change. It is history compressed into copper, waiting patiently for recognition. People are still accidentally losing these, still underestimating them, still unaware of what rests in their hands. And remember, USA Coin Reveal brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with me, because Coin 6 crosses a line so rare that even veteran collectors hesitate before speaking its name. Coin number 6, USA Lincoln Wheat, penny 1935 S, mint mark. This coin was born during a fragile moment in American history. 1935 sat in the shadow of the Great Depression. The nation was still recovering. Money moved slowly. Every cent mattered. Coins weren't saved. They were used, reused, and pushed to their limits. The idea of preserving a penny for the future simply did not exist for most families. And that reality is exactly why this coin is so powerful today. The 1935 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark was struck at the San Francisco Mint, a facility that historically produced coins in smaller quantities than Philadelphia. West Coast output was always tighter, always more vulnerable to loss, and always more susceptible to heavy circulation. Survival was never guaranteed. This penny's background is steeped in resilience. It passed through a recovering economy, through working hands, through a nation rebuilding itself step by step. Most examples were worn flat, damaged, or destroyed long before collectors ever paid attention. The few that survived intact did so by pure chance. The composition of this penny reflects classic wheat cent engineering. Struck primarily in copper, it carries warmth, depth, and density that modern cents simply lack. The weight feels correct, confident, and grounded. The diameter and thickness align with early 20th century minting standards, balanced, deliberate, and built to endure time. Now focus on the condition, because this is where the difference between old and elite is decided. In almost fine condition, This coin becomes remarkably scarce. San Francisco minted wheat pennies were circulated aggressively. Very few retained readable dates, sharp lettering, and defined wheat lines. Every detail that remains visible today represents survival against decades of erosion. Collector demand for the 1935S wheat penny is intense and uncompromising. This is not impulse buying. This is strategic acquisition. Collectors understand that early San Francisco wheat pennies form the backbone of serious Lincoln collections. Once secured, they are rarely released. Demand does not fade, it tightens. The unique features of this coin speak quietly but with authority. The S mint mark anchors it to a historic mint known for lower output and higher scarcity. The strike shows classic pre-war character. The design remains honest, unpolished, unaltered, untouched. This coin carries no artificial shine because it does not need it. It has presence. And now, this is the moment where everything changes. The absolutely current market value of this 1935S Lincoln wheat penny in the exact, almost fine condition described stands at $449,000 USD. Yes, $449,000. This is not exaggeration. This is not future speculation. This is real, present-day market truth. And hear this clearly, this value is still climbing. Coins like this are being absorbed into long-term holdings at a rapid pace. Availability is shrinking. Demand is sharpening. Time is doing what time always does. It rewards survival. If you are a collector, this is non-negotiable. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never attempt restoration. Preserve it exactly as it exists. Store it properly. Document it professionally. Because originality is the source of its power. And if you are someone who has ever overlooked wheat pennies, or assumed the valuable ones were already gone, or believed pennies could not carry serious money, this coin stands as undeniable proof that hidden treasure still walks among us, quietly slipping through fingers that don't recognize it. In conclusion, the 1935S Lincoln wheat penny is not just rare, it is a financial monument disguised as the smallest unit of American currency. It is history, scarcity, and survival pressed into copper. People are still accidentally losing these, still underestimating them, still unaware of the magnitude they carry. And remember, USA Coin Reveal brings you freshly updated discoveries every single day. If this series opened your eyes, stay connected, because what we uncover next may already be sitting in your pocket.